You want customers?
Make things simpler, faster, more convenient. One tap, you get a conversation with your customer that never ends.
You know how many people have been to your venue. You know how many people have tapped you. I'm just going to scan.
Yeah, I was like, you need to talk to Ryan. He's got Tap the Table. Don't even waste your time. He's got a solution.
It just works.
And that's why Tap the Table exists in the first place. Boom. And then you just start doubling the price. That's that right there.
We're doing different things.
I'm going to tell you what works based on what I have literally seen. Stop. Just tap your phone. Boom, done. Easy. What is going on, people of the internet? I didn't even do the intro today, y'all, because the guest is that dude. You have to be respectful, guys. And when you have someone like we have today coming on your podcast, there's no need to wait 3 minutes. You just need to get right up in there. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And by the way, if you're lost and you don't know where you are, this is episode number 33 of the ChatBot podcast. My name is Ryan Bag, and I'm happy to be here. I am your host, and we are going to get this thing cranked up with a real deal professional, y'all. This dude he's the one. He's everywhere. I am in every freaking group there is that has anything to do with conversational marketing. And I'm very good at recognizing, at least on Facebook, faces and names. Very good at this. So in these groups, when I see crossover, it's very obvious to me. And I'm saying, who is this person? And why are they here? And why are they there? Why are they everywhere I am? And man, this guy is that guy. No more from me. Please take a moment and help me welcome Mr. Greg Adams. What is going on, dude?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for having me on, man. It's a pleasure. We've been going back and forth for a while now, just see if we can catch up each other's schedules, and we're finally getting to have this chat today. So I'm excited about it. A lot of fun things to talk about. A lot of things are going on in the chatbot world and the e-commerce world. So we've been trying to decide when we're going to get this thing together. So here we are. So I'm excited to dive right in today, and let's get it going.
Greg, people think I'm playing whenever I tell them on air. It takes me a while to get these guests on this show. How long have I been after you, man? I feel like it's been like 6 months. Before I had the podcast, I wanted you on the podcast.
Yeah, it's months. It's been months, and our schedules just hadn't met up. But yeah, it does take a while to get people on because people are busy building bots and doing other things. So yeah, it's
And if they're not busy, I don't want them on this show. Like if they had all the time in the world, then that probably means they're not very productive. And that probably means they wouldn't bring a lot of value. And that is our goal. Guys, if you don't know what a chatbot is, we're going to get deep into that, but not so deep that you're going to need to take notes. We're going to have everything here in very layman's terms for the most part. And so before we get too deep, what I want to do here is just have you, Greg, introduce yourself a little bit about your background and how you got into chatbots in the first place, because this sure is a niche place to be in digital marketing, is it not?
Yes, it is. And I'm going to try to keep this story kind of short because I'm quite older than a lot of people that are in this space right here. But I actually started in online marketing probably about maybe 14, 15 years ago. I was running my water filtration business, and that's way back when people actually took out ads in the yellow pages. So I did one in a little book at the local area, and doing pretty well with it. And I got caught in what they call the law of fallacies. So if you have a small book, then you go to a bigger book. So I went into the big book in Houston there, and boy, that was a big mistake. I almost went bankrupt on that, and they wouldn't let me get out of the contract. And I spent literally thousands and thousands of dollars and got zero for return. So from there, I said, man, what am I going to do? I'm about to go bankrupt, and ran across this program at the time. It was called, I won't even say it, but anyway, I was able to get, it's the way you spread out your videos all out to the market. And so I went in that program. I, out of desperation, made a couple of quick videos in my kitchen, how to change reverse osmosis filters, and a couple of other how-to videos on all my constituents saying you're crazy for giving away all the information. But guess what? My phone started ringing off the wall. Simple YouTube video with a little call to action at the end of it. And I grew my business from a couple of repair jobs to whole house systems to a $60,000 deal on a ranch down in South Texas. And
that's
my
what I'm
business
talking about. Yes.
And after 6-8 months, or I guess about a year and a half, actually, I just did nothing more referrals. No other kind of advertising. So from there we started building out. I started building out mobile apps. Part of a good friend of mine, we started doing local mobile apps, and that was pretty good. And from then on, just kind of kept going, and got into voice a couple of years ago. And since then, I've kind of watched the world converge, if you will. And I saw chatbots, and I thought, wow, this is where it's at. We don't know how many people are on Facebook, and I know how many people are always looking at their phone, and it's phenomenal. So it's a great place to be. And like I said, so many people are using chatbots nowadays, and a lot of people prefer having that chat conversation over just picking up the phone and calling and having to deal with somebody at a store or someplace that is incompetent and don't even know how to answer the question. So that's kind of how I got into doing chatbots. That's my backstory.
That's incredible. And so let me ask you this, because I want to make sure that I have a good understanding. Whenever you did those videos, how long was that? Not one that long ago. How long ago was it?
It was a good 14 years ago.
14. All right. So yes, you're an early adopter. Okay. When did YouTube? I will be totally roasted for this, but I want to say YouTube was a thing in like 1908. I was going to say 1997.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think I don't recall, but man, I have learned so much on YouTube, and it's one place that, as a marketing professional myself, that's not a lane that I've played in too much, because it's a different space than Facebook. They're different beasts. But people that have done it on YouTube, if you're searchable, if people can find you on YouTube or look for a thing and consistently find you on YouTube, you've got something there. It's powerful.
Right. I was not any expert. I literally set, my reverse osmosis system up on the kitchen counter, and I had my little Canon camera set over in the corner, and I literally just turned on the camera and started talking and just walking people through the little video. Probably a 3 to 5 minute video. I actually have them still saved on YouTube. They're not up, but I saved them.
Have to keep them. Yes.
Yeah, I had to keep them.
Have to.
They were very simple, not polished or anything. I was just wearing what I have right now. And I just explained to people how these things work and how to fix it. And my phone started ringing off the wall like, hey, I seen your YouTube video. Can you send me some parts of that? Oh, by the way, do you sell whole house systems? Sure do. And it's just awesome. It's that authority thing, not that I was super knowledgeable or anything like that. I just shared my knowledge. And I think that's what's great about with chatbots, having these conversations with people. So many people try to, get these conversations complicated, but we got to keep them simple. I think that's what I've learned from doing video, is just keep it simple. People want to get their information they want and get it fast and get the right information. And that's why I love your Tap the Table, because it is simple, but yet elegant. It goes right to the point. And that's really what people need. They want their information right now, and they want to be able to communicate and get what they want and get on about their life, because people are busy.
Dude, I'll tell you what, you just freaking nailed that. Like, where's your teleprompter back there in your awesome studio? Like,
no teleprompter.
You have everything in that studio. I love that. I've said it multiple times. I'm jealous of that. I'll tell you what, people they say nice things about my little setup. It's the most plain. I was very stressed one day, and I said, I don't have anything fun that I can put behind me. I just painted the whole wall black. Painted it black, and I called it a day. And then you just have you have shelving, you have lights. This is what 14 years of experience in the YouTube game can get you guys. And this is not, he wasn't trying to be a YouTuber here. He's a businessman the entire time. That's what's, I think, made a difference here.
Yeah, I was just trying to feed my family, keep the lights on.
100%. And you know, I know the feeling that you must have had when people thought you were crazy. Like, dude, you're putting your name on the internet, dude. What are you thinking? Stupid. You know, like
Right.
I've had so many people like think that over the years. Even a couple of weeks ago, whenever the mass exodus was going to happen on social media, they're going to move over here. Well, I don't think they've done that. People have told me this. I don't think Facebook will live forever, but the idea will. The idea of what you've said, this is where the attention will live. This is where you should be. And at that time, YouTube was by far the best place to be. It's still an amazing, it's one of the top places to be, guys. But I digress. We've got to get back into it. I have so many questions for you. And one of them goes here, because we're going to have a lot of people that don't know what a chatbot is, or they're going to think it's the Russians. So someone as yourself that is an expert, can you please, in your opinion and your professional opinion, describe what a chatbot is?
Well, I don't say I'm a professional. I'm just I'm an enthusiast, if you will, and I just it's a conversation between a person and a it's a conversation is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an automation, conversation automation.
Yes,
that's the definition of it. And when you can structure your chatbot to offload simple tasks like order me a pizza or a hamburger, or what are your hours, or some of the take your 10 frequently asked questions and put those into automation, aka a chatbot, and you've taken the manager of the restaurant or of the store of the business. They're not having to be on the phone, and have that automation going to free up to do what you're doing. The job of that store owner or that business is to communicate and to serve the people however they're going to serve them, and they really don't have time to be answering 100 phone calls a day, nor does the people calling in want to have to go through that. I know I sure don't want to have to go through that. So yeah, that's the definition of it for me.
Well, let me tell you also, I got to time out for a minute, because
yeah,
it feels good to have some Texas accent going on this show, man. Let me tell y'all something. We've been everywhere on the ChatBot podcast, y'all. We've been to India. We've been to the UK. It feels good to have a little bit of country in that accent, man. I love that, dude. And you nailed it. You dropped bombs nonstop. This is just like, I know people's heads are spinning that follow the things that we're doing in these groups and the things that we're achieving and showing how to do. You're giving it away right here, man. And it's basic stuff. When you put it out the way you've done, it makes sense. Yes, a chatbot is going to be the FAQ of 2021. Why have I never thought of that? That is a genius way to say that. And there's more. But wait, there's more. Like Kelly, Stephanie Lou or Kelly, they'd be like hitting something on their keyboard, and like all the gifts would be popping up at this point, all the sounds. I'm not there yet. We're gonna get there though, Greg. I'm gonna get so good on this podcast stuff. I'll be able to make. Oh, we're just wait. I know. I just saw you looking for the thing. You're gonna make a sound, weren't you? Yeah. I know you were. Yeah. Please don't show me up. I've been showing up here on the show before. It's okay. I learn every day. I said this the other day, and what
we're here to have fun. We're here to educate people and inform them, share the knowledge that we have. So
in tech and in social,
what we're having doing, sharing our conversations, sharing our knowledge of what we've learned throughout the years and what we know to help other people out.
Exactly right. And in tech and social, we're always students. We're always learning, because everything's changing. Always. What you knew last year doesn't apply, guys. The coolest thing that was here last year might not be a thing now. Like, have you ever heard of Snapchat? Like, I knew everyone was telling me, Ryan, you need to get on Snapchat. You need to do this. Facebook's dead. Instagram's dead. No, I think that's wrong. I don't think it's not happened, and it will. I'm not saying it won't happen eventually. I'm sure that Zuck will eventually have to pull the plug. Someone will. But until that day, this is what we're talking about. And the FAQ thing, guys, I want to break this down really quick. Not only can you provide answers, like if someone was to message your Facebook page right now and say, hey, what's your address? Or, hey, what's your phone number? How slow would it take a human to respond to that question in general? Sure, sometimes maybe it's very fast. So I think average, it will be very slow. Compared to a chatbot, it is dinosaur slow. Like, It's so slow, right? Now, the cool thing here is when someone says, hey, do you accept reservations? And can I bring my dog? Something like that, right? Not only are you able to provide the answer, yes, we have reservations available. And yes, we accept well-behaved dogs. And every time it's consistent. It's amazing to me. The FAQ piece, very, very, very smart. I want to go back to this. Yellow Pages. How effective and how common was it for every business to invest quite a bit of money? I know some phone book guys that got rich when I was younger, you know? Is that just like was it just normal? Like you have to be in the phone book?
They got a lot of my money.
Yeah.
we're talking some a lot of zeros. So, and there's a lot of other business that did it. Well, it was the thing, you know, you had to be in the Yellow Pages. You know what? It's like later on when like people said, well, I don't need a website. Now everybody has like, you don't have a website? It was the same thing with Yellow Pages. Everybody had the Yellow Pages because that's the way people, you picked up the phone and you called information. There was no internet. I'm old enough now. I grew up, I had no internet. You know, it was word of mouth and it was a phone. I mean, I grew up with a party line of people on the phone. They probably don't know what a party line is. But
man, we might have to a party line. That wow, yeah, talk about that. That sounds fun. We need to bring that one back.
Yeah.
All right, Yellow Pages. Anyway, you know, I guess
Pages.
That was the Google, right? That was the original Google. That and the encyclopedia. And I saw a super funny blog post from Kelly that was talking about, for the young ones out there, Google what a encyclopedia is. I thought that was hilarious. I think things are funny all the time, like that some people might just glance over. I catch it. And in this case, I want you guys to understand this. Yellow Pages, phone books, if you want to put your ad in there today, they'll give it away. It's dirt cheap. What sort of like price ranges were we looking at back then? I know you say you spent a lot of money over time, but like a listing that was printed in the book, like I personally have no idea.
A small local book, you know, say an area of maybe 20,000 people, you know, back then, maybe 15, 20,000 people for a local area. A little 2x3 ad, or maybe it was a 4x5, was about $300 to $400 a month.
Quit playing. Stop it, man.
That's kind of beating up the phone rep too. You know, that's doing them down.
The phone rep. Yeah, I forgot there's a phone rep. Right, man. I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure I might have got conned into doing this, but it was like so much. It was so little. I was like, whatever, I guess. Like, I think it was a phone book for the local area for a business I represent. I'm not going to say the name of this business, but I want to say they were like trying to reach me or trying to reach marketing for this company. And I don't know why I had to get their message, but finally the guy got me, and he was saying something like, because of the health crisis, we're able to offer you your listing that was $85 last year for $35 this year. I just have to get you to send an email saying it's okay. Man, that's probably it's probably in the trash, that money, but I couldn't believe that. Like, it must be like that must be rough, like to see an industry like that be so king and then to see it crumble so fast, because it had to happen quickly. Like, sure, it was king for a long time in the grand scheme of things, but I have not picked up a phone book to find anything in I do not know how many years. I have not done it. I don't know anyone that does that. I don't.
Well, technology is moving exponential. You know, people said mobile phones, that was just a fad. Now everybody does everything on their mobile phone.
And that leads us right into what I want to talk to you about, because this is where you really shine. This is your expertise here. And I want you to explain to people, we've explained to them what a chatbot is. It is a conversation. It is a solution-driven conversation, guys. That's, I think, a concise way to put it. But frictionless commerce is something that has not been thought of until very recently. And you're, in essence, the king of frictionless commerce. And just explain a little bit to the folks at home what that is.
Well, I mean, Gary said a lot. I'm a big follower of Gary, but a lot of other people that are very, very smart, a lot smarter than me, that I watched, that I've been watching for years, have come up too. But basically, frictionless commerce is anything that is touchless or frictionless, like the chatbots. But the other thing is near field communications, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But off of your phones, the new iPhone 12 has 2 sensors built into it. All the Androids have it, and pretty much they've got it perfected in the last couple of years. NFC's been around for quite a long time, but now it's really becoming perfected. And ever since we've had this worldwide pandemic, now it's just an accelerated thing, anywhere between 5 to 10 years. Also, video is frictionless. Beacons, eye beacons, that's a frictionless type of technology. So anything that wallet applications, I know we're both part of a wallet platform. That's huge right now. If you have any digital coupon or rewards card or a loyalty card in the digital wallet, is the bomb, if you will.
It
Because
sure
now
is.
you're in their deal. So anything that that you're not taking a a paper coupon per se and having to physically take it out. It's not a Val pack or with the daily mailer or weekly mailer in there, and having that on your phone, having that in there, and being able to go to a retailer and use that coupon and add to your loyalty points. I mean, that's just the way people nowadays, or people always been lazy. I mean,
Yes, they sure have.
Human beings
Getting
by
lazier.
nature, we want to take the less path, if we will. I grew up around, we used to have to actually get up and turn, change the channel on the TV. Now somebody will scream
Man,
now people will scream if they can't find the remote, so
I'll tell you this. My mom says she watches this show, so if she does, then the next time we talk, which is like we talk every week, I'm sure she'll mention it. We'll see. I'm testing the show right now to see if my mom watches. But I'll tell you this: when I was little, I remember being called the TV remote.
Yep.
Because my dad would say, "Go change the channel," and I would say, "Okay." And it's just so funny. Like for me, I think everything at this point should be done with your mobile device. And
I agree.
The neighbor next door, older lady, she just bought a awesome TV, like super expensive flat screen, and it is controlled by the phone. And I was like, this is genius. Why don't I have this? It's because she's awesome and I'm not there yet. I'll get that TV one day. I'll be able to control it with my phone, and that will be a frictionless TV experience.
Right.
But I want to mention the NFC thing. You
Go ahead.
came up with the best idea the other day, and I want you to talk about that, and I don't want you to forget it, and I don't want anyone to take his idea, because we're going to do it somehow. We have to talk to Rupert, and we have to talk to the people over at Walletly to make it happen, maybe. But can you just spill the beans on this one? Because this one is just like my mind exploded when you thought of this or talked about this.
Yeah, you were talking about the other day. You had the pizza guy on the other day.
Steve Green from PMQ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and we talked about, we used to probably 10, 12 years ago, we actually did we do a lot of local business. And we did this QR codes for local businesses, and we did these magnets. And so, interesting fact, I'm trying to remember what the fact is. You could actually Google it, but people go to the refrigerator, something like open the refrigerator like 200 and something times a day, or 173 times a day, some crazy number. And so you think about that. If you got a magnet on the front of that refrigerator, and you've got a pizza or whatever restaurant, any kind of service that people are doing, and you have your QR code on there, and with the NFC tag, little stickers that you can put on there, programmable stickers onto that, boom. Now, instead of people even have to scan, pick up the phone, because the old way they used to do it, like a lot of people back then wouldn't even scan the QR code because QR codes were funky and they didn't work all the time.
You're not going to download the app for that. We got an app for that. You heard that this year. They really trained them back in the day to really not use
so that's kind of some friction. That's why I love this, because that was kind of some friction. You want to take that friction away from them. How can we take that middle piece out, that friction out? And by having that NFC tag on that little sticker, now it's boom. All they got to do is pick up their phone, bam, and it opens up there. Oh, I want to order a burger. I want a pizza. Oh, I need my plumber out here. Boom. It's that there. Because they got their phone in their pocket, and all they don't even have to dial a number anymore. I mean, that's how. I don't want to keep saying lazy, but that's how people are. Like,
it's true. I
don't even want to have to dial a phone anymore. If I can just bring up that NFC, bam, and or the QR code and scan it, and it pops right up on my phone, and I can do a click to call, or I can do an order right there. That's what people are going to do.
Dude, I think this just prompted me to tell you guys a quick story about this voice stuff, because the voice stuff is the future for sure. It's happening and it's conversational. It's what we do, guys. What we do, Greg and I, it is the future, and the future is now. There are many businesses already using this stuff, and it's very great. But I'll tell you, this is an interesting story. So I was trying to explain, I think right after you probably motivated me, or something I saw you post on Facebook, or somebody you helped, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was you. I saw something, and that's why I was on my mind, the Alexa deal. So I get off the computer. I think Hannah, my wife, gets home from CrossFit, and I was just bragging about, oh, this is how you're going to be able to buy everything, honey. I said, you know what I need right now? Flip-flops, because Rambo, my puppy, ruined my flip-flops 2 times. Sorry, Mom. 2 times. My favorite 2 pairs. One Hannah got me, one my mom got me, gone. So I said, Alexa, buy me. I said, give me the flip-flops. You know, like I was just, proving a point. Totally got the flip-flops, totally paid for them, totally did not come. I want to say it was a fluke, but everything happened the way it should have, except I didn't get them. Someone must have, I have a ring, so I'll find out who stole my flip-flops. I bet they thought, I'm sure they thought if someone did take them, that they wished it was something else, because they're like the cheapest flip-flops. They're like $11 flip-flops on Amazon, but I needed them. Either way, it was so easy. It was the easiest thing ever. All I had to do was say, Alexa, find the cheap flip-flops, and it happened. And I said, buy it. That is the thing. And people are, I think, you could look at it as getting lazier or smarter, because super successful people that you would look at as lazy are actually just, they're so smart. They've already figured out a way to automate something a lot of times, and now they're good, Yeah. So I think a lot of times the lazy people are smart, but there's, gray area for everything, right? Let's see.
You just brought up a good point right there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm here.
No, you go ahead. It's all you, man.
No. You just brought up a good point about ordering right there.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about, let's break it down what you just said right there. So you wanted to order some more flip-flops, some more shoes right there. So what did you didn't?
I'm not even thinking about it. I'm there in my mind. I'm there in my mind. Yes, this is going to be good, guys. This is going to be good.
So if you think about this, you didn't open up that G bar, and you didn't do that blue bar search. Mm-hmm. So Amazon has already, this is why you got to build your brand now, and especially with voice and with chatbots. And that's why all this omni-channel is coming together. That's why you need to find it all together, because top of brand. Because one day what's going to happen is, just like Ryan just gave the example, he just said, hey, Alexa, find me some cheap shoes or some flip-flops. He didn't say, order me some Nike flip-flops. He didn't say, order me some Air Jordan flip-flops. He said, order me the cheapest flip-flop. So Amazon has already picked it out for him. Now, if you have a brand,
so interesting,
Ryan's brand shoes, then he's going to say, because it's top of mind, he's going to say, order me these shoes, and then Amazon will serve that up. So that's going to be the top of the search engine right there. And that's why you got to build your brand, not only on voice, but you got to build it on chatbots. Keep in front of the customers. Always be there to serve the customers. Because again, whenever they're searching for stuff, they want answers now. And I know you have the answer to this right here, is how much business is actually lost because the customer response, somebody's asking a question through a chatbot, or they don't have their chatbot set up and nobody answers them, and they just go buy from somebody else.
Exactly. And it happens so often, guys.
All connect together. And that's what we're having this conversation right now.
That's a great way to explain why omnichannel is important. Okay. And this is why not all things are the same. So for example, you and I know the importance of SMS automation, correct?
Yeah.
We understand more so than the majority that if you send out a communication through a channel, the customer does not always do what you want them to do.
No.
Right? So you don't want to have a bad user experience, because exactly like Greg is saying, as soon as that happens, they're out. It's like back in the day when websites were first becoming a thing. We were all dealing with slow websites, but if yours didn't have the security certificate. It was like, oh, warning, this is not a good site. You were out. You're like, I ain't getting a virus on my computer, not today, right? People are cautious. And I think you have to make things extremely frictionless, because as soon as there's friction, they are gone. And it only makes sense. Like if you're e-commerce guys, it only makes sense to have automated and virtual everything all the time. Like that's why you have to have it. And they're usually the leaders, and the brick and mortars, I think, follow suit or close, unfortunately, in that space. But it only makes sense. It's like, all your employees go home at a certain time, right? Well, the chatbot can keep selling, and it can sell better than Freddie, the person that was late 6 minutes and smells like cigarettes, and he might not even take a shower, and he's wearing the wrong brand shoes, so he has to go home now. So like, that's a very terrible example. I can come up with some terrible examples, but it's just why they're very important. And so that leads me to another question. Do you think every business needs a chatbot?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I think they do. Especially the brick and mortar. But yeah, I think every business needs one. It might be a very, very simple one, just like what we talked about in the beginning here. Just FAQ, something like that. Simple as again, watch your store hours and things like that. And then I think everybody could use one. And it's in the even brick and mortar. Now they say brick and mortar is dead, but brick and mortar is not dead. Just the way that brick and mortar has done business is dead.
I agree 100% with that.
And what I mean by that, so let me give you a scenario, is that so we'll pick a big department store. Well, we won't name any names. We'll just say a big department store. So I'm going to a wedding here in a couple of months, so I need a new suit. So I instead of me not able to go to the department store now or having the hassle of the department store, I find their chatbot. I find an ad on Facebook over there. I'm looking for them, and so I start to interact with their bot. I'm like, okay, well, I'm this size here. I'm looking for this style of suit, and I'm looking for this color and so on and so forth. So I'm having this conversation with the chatbot. But now comes the time like, all right, well, I really need to go try it on. So would you like to set an appointment? I absolutely would. So instead of having just to go into the store, now I can actually go on a live call, bring up the associate in that store. So I have the tailor that's been working there 40 years. He comes over, hi, Mr. Adams, how can I serve you? I see that I've got your information here. This is what you're looking for. Here's the 3 suits that I've personally picked out for you. Do you like these? Now we're having a 2-way conversation. Like, yes, I like those 3. I'd like to, and let me confirm your size. Okay, yeah. Now, when would you like to set the appointment? Okay, can you come in, Saturday at 9 a.m.? Great. And so now, you're going to go into the store and, make the transaction. So even the brick and mortar businesses, you're going to need some kind of chatbot.
I agree 1,000%. And I just think at this point, guys, if you're not using a chatbot, you're really just somehow you're leaving money on the table. You're having your customers or potential customers have a bad experience. And I just think at this point, if you can go ahead and at something in your business, be preemptive about it instead of reactionary, you should do it. And that's what people expect. And I think that you nailed that there. Another thing that Greg and I have in common is, and I brought it up earlier, we're very into learning new things. And, the way you learn new things is nowadays, either you go spend a whole bunch of money and commit a whole bunch of time, a lot of it unnecessary, to take, classes at universities or something after hours. I don't know, extended learning. If I want to go learn about something, I could potentially take classes somewhere, but that's a big commitment. And with what's going on with the health crisis, that's not feasible, right? So I think because we're lifelong learners, we have to follow people who are experts in their field, who we trust, who we stand behind, who sometimes we're fans of. Everyone knows who I'm the biggest fan of, but who and it can be the same people. It doesn't matter. What influencers would you recommend to people that are looking for a little bit of maybe backup with what we're saying. They don't believe us,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
That's cool.
Kelly,
Don't take our word for it.
Yeah, Kelly Noble.
For sure. The bot queen.
Yeah, the bot queen.
Teaches everyone
Yeah,
everything.
she's dynamite. Another one is Rupert Samuel. He's a
shout out to Rupert.
He's the nerdiest of the nerds.
He is.
He's and all due respect, Rupert, we love you, man, but you are the nerdiest of the nerd. But he's such a giving person as well. He has a great personality. He's not really secretive about his stuff. He really gives. So Kelly and Rupert, and of course yourself.
Appreciate that.
Trying to think of some other people. Adele is really good. I got a good friend, Drew Griffin. He runs a couple of SaaS softwares that's good for to tie in with the chatbots. He runs Group X and Delicious Marketing Hacks. We've been friends for a long time. I have deep respect for him. He's always a very giving person. So the people I respect is not just because of their head knowledge, but also their willingness to give. And I think that's in everybody that I've just mentioned. They always want to go out of the way to give a lending helping hand in a good way.
I could not agree more. And, I want to give someone a special shout out who's great at publicity. This guy, he's probably the reason that half of this audience is watching. And so excuse me for a second. I just have to give a big shout out to my good buddy. His name is redacted. I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is the apology that I was looking for has started to come. And that's all I wanted to say about that. And for those of you that know, and I'm just like, it's a domino effect, but I digress. I have a couple more captions here. I just had to slip that in there. Otherwise, It just wasn't going to. I want to know, and this is a big one, how important are Facebook ads in what you do and your recommendations to the clients and your friends and other business owners that ask you about this stuff, whether it's chatbots or not? That's a very niche thing, chatbots, but how important? Some people, they just don't, they're like, oh, well, organic is the answer. And I'm just always like, no, not dealing with that one, not touching it. What's your thoughts?
Man, love Zuckerberg or not, right now, your best bang for the buck is still Facebook ads.
Yes, agree.
It's just, you just got to know how to dial it in. And yeah, I've spent a lot of money on them too, but you can't just throw some money at it and call it good. You really have to watch it. Just like anything else, you got to split test and dial stuff in. If you listen to the experts and not the ones selling you $2,000 courses, but like the people.
Yes, he said it. Yes, I love this.
Yeah. You're not just because you went out and spent $2,000 a course, is not going to make it work for you. That's like a lot of us have to do. We learn from our peers and some of these people that we admire, but then we got to go in and break it and test it ourselves. That's really the only way you're going to learn, is test a little at a time and break it and see what's working, it's not working. But to answer your question, it's still by far, no matter what you're doing, your best bang for, because you can dial it in. I got a local media, what we call a local media asset in the area that I am, and this is the local area. I've got over 11,000 people on that, and it's just because I'm dialing it in. Run some simple ads by using a few simple methods, and if you follow the rules and you do deep dive, targeting in that, then you can win on Facebook. And you start watching it. If an ad's not working correct, don't just set it and forget it. No, watch it for a few days, keep an eye on it. And if it's not working, then you just dial it in. You keep trying other things until you get something that works, and then you just keep going with it and you just keep watching it. But I'm repeating myself, but by doing Facebook, again, Facebook ads themselves, if you do them right and dial it in, is still your best bang for your buck, because you can collect so much data off of it. And ethically, is that what people will give you their information, you have their Facebook IDs. And I won't get too much in the weeds here, but doing your retargeting campaigns, that is huge. That is huge. I acquire sometimes, customers, for 1 and 3 cents a person, which is, I mean, you can't go out there and get a billboard for that. You can't even measure. That's the thing is with chatbots and Facebook ads, you can measure your return on investment. We go back to what I was talking about before when I was doing those yellow pages. There was no ROI on that. You had no idea. It was a fallacy number. Well, we have 100,000 in circulation. So what? How many people are actually opening up the book and looking at your number and looking through the pages? You had no way to measure it. And that's another reason why I got in this game, is because I can measure the ROI. If it's not working, then we can back up, step off the side, recalibrate, and go into it. And with Facebook ads, you can really, you got to be disciplined at it though. You can really, dial it in.
100%. I just think the ad game is just, I've said it in the past, no matter how good, listen to me, this is very important, agencies. This is where chatbots really hit home for agencies when they understand it. Your job is to get your clients' product or services in front of people. Step one. Step two, easily allow the customers to convert into paying customers. Okay. Greg and I, we can do that with comments. We can turn our comments into customers very easy, very quickly, very efficiently. And in this day and age, if you're not doing something like what we are doing, you are behind. And what we saw earlier this year, in my case, and this is what I don't want to happen. This is why Tap the Table truly exists. We don't want to see businesses and entrepreneurs and good people who have great things lose those great things in the commerce space, in the business space, because they hate Facebook or they hate technology or they hate social media. It doesn't matter what you guys like anymore. Unfortunately, we saw that because so many restaurants closed. They didn't offer online ordering. They're like, no, not doing it. They did not care about Facebook doesn't work. It's baffling to understand how many people still say that. But at the same time, I understand completely why people think it doesn't work. Because they're not running ads. They're not spending money. They're not investing in their efforts in the right ways, because you can spend $10,000 on the most awesome photographer. I know some of the best photographers around. Spend the money, I'm sure. Then you spend money on the employees to maybe post the things, right? But if you do not put gasoline in a car, it will not go. No one will see your post if you do not put Facebook ads behind them. That is just it's so key, guys. It will change the game immediately. And then we can have conversations about being efficient and then tracking your dollars. There's so many businesses out there. They're just behind, man. And that's why I think I'm going to do whatever I can to get you on Team TTT, just doing this, because it will save the restaurants and you'll make a lot of money doing it. They'll make a lot more money than they ever have, because they're going to get customers like they've never seen before. And I think that's the key. And it can be this can be replicated, guys. Whether you're a therapist, shout out to Phil, who's crushing it still with TTT with his quizzes and all that stuff, and to the big restaurants and the small. This is how you can do it quickly and easily. And guys like Greg, unlike me, I can't do that anymore. He gets you there quick. He can jumpstart you because he's the man. I digress. Put you on the spot, man.
Yeah, you did put me on the spot, though.
But it's fun.
It's about serving. It's all about serving our customers.
That's right.
Really, at the end of the day, it's all about serving our customers and making sure, the old saying from old Zig Ziglar, one of my first, mentors years and years ago. You can have everything in your life that you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. That's what Ryan and I are doing right here. Just helping people out, and it'll come back to us. We're not trying to knock people's heads off. Just help them along, and they come back around. At the end of the day, that's been my whole thing. At the end of the day, back when I was doing my water filtration business, is that the reason I got into the money, because I need to make some money. But the thing, what I really found out over the years was were the relationships that I actually built. And when I left those people's house, it was, I left them better than whenever I came there, because I come in and ask them, okay, what's going on? What are your problems? wasn't just trying to sell them something. If they didn't need it, then I wouldn't sell it to them. But coming back in 2 weeks and see the smile on their face and like, this is the best thing since white bread. And that's to me is the satisfaction. And that's what I want to help, businesses with now is like they're in a bind. Is this a cure-all? No, but it can sure help a lot. In a lot of cases, it can pull businesses through and really help them thrive in this in this situation that we're in. And at the end of the day, when they're able to, pay their employees and pay their rent and actually make a living, then at the end of the day, I'm happy.
Well, I think that's what it comes down to. It's like, I can't believe how many businesses I've seen, even just locally to me, actually thrive. And Steve from PMQ, he was talking about it. And the pizza industry was one that they did the majority, not the majority, I don't know what the percentage was, but it was a very high percentage, saw everything just right up. And if you do things the correct way, there's almost always a way you can optimize something to save or make money. And I think we're going to have a very interesting concept here shortly that I'm totally going to be a part of, that is going to be big, and it's going to involve different ways of thinking. And so while Facebook ads are important in my world too, especially, and for a multitude of reasons, I think that there's going to be creative ways to work with Facebook ads. I think there's going to be creative ways to work with influencers and celebrities alike. I think that we're going to be able to track the effectiveness of each of those categories easily, like we've never done before. And I think that if we can make less mistakes on average on any industry, let's just talk restaurants, and avoid things like spending the money on the phone books of today, you have a good chance. And for the ones that they say, well, screw the internet, I'm sticking with the phone book, literally or conceptually, they're the ones that will have to say, well, it was nice knowing you. And whether you're e-commerce or restaurants, they're one and the same. Restaurants are probably the slowest out of the bunch. So as long as I follow what you're doing, Greg, I'll be a step ahead of my competition on the restaurant side. You're the commerce guy.
Well,
I'm just creep on you. Every group, I'm going to creep on every post. I'm going to like it, or I'll say the wow emoji every single time.
Well, I want to bring up this little article that actually I got this morning from Retail Brew, and it was just talking about, the Black Friday sales that just happened here.
That's right.
And just some of the. I'll just bring out a few points. I'll obviously read this whole thing, but I thought it was really interesting. So digital Black Friday sales grew 21.6% year over year to $9 billion, according to Adobe Analytics. I mean, $9 billion. So this is not going away. And it says behind the scenes winner is Shopify, with 1+ million merchants reported Black Friday sales, a 75% increase.
Whoa.
To $2.4 billion. $2.4 billion. And of course, it says the obvious loser is the malls. And they've, it says a decline in retail traffic here, in-store retail by 48%, retail next in 52% from Systematic Solutions. But anyway, so we're really seeing, the e-commerce part of it really jumping up here. And
that's insane numbers, man.
And the one SMS discount notifications were up 156%, and push notifications jumped up 142%. So, that's where the chatbots and everything come into it. People are on their phones. That is the most valuable. I wish I could find I've got it from 10 years ago. I'll have to pull it up. I'll also have to send it to you. This is the most valuable real estate in the world. This right here. It is the most valuable real estate in the world because people have it with them on 24/7. When they leave the house, they leave with three things. They leave with their keys, their wallet, and their phone. People panic when they don't have their phone there. And so if you're in, where are the eyeballs? Well, Gary, where are the eyeballs? Their eyeballs are right here all the time. Mm-hmm. And by having the chatbots and having that in there where people are searching for stuff, people are not going through the yellow pages. They're not. Yeah, they're checking some emails. Email's still good. That's not part of omnichannel, but having that way to connect with them and getting that conversation started, through a chatbot, I think is is where it is right now.
I think you could not be any more accurate. And I think I'm going to point out here what is extremely awesome about social media specifically is 20 years ago, if there were two dudes in the United States or anywhere internationally that were having the ideas and the thoughts that we were having, it would in general be very difficult and or expensive to ever meet, for one, and ever have these kind of conversations that we're having. So the fact that the internet is here and we are so connected and dialed in, and the fact that this health thing has, gotten people like me who hate the camera in general, being in front of it. I just put a hat on and pretend no one can see me, and I just talk a bunch. Like it actually has created waves in which I think as a civilization have just never seen. And I think if we say positive here, this can be a very effective way of thinking. And so across the nation, across the world, if we try to take on the philosophy of making things faster and easier, better all the time, we're always optimizing. I think that there's so much room for extraordinary success. And for the places that do not evolve, it is safe to say we will tell them goodbye. Like I can't imagine how I have time to listen to the radio anymore, but I like to listen. One of my secret things is listening to AM radio when I drive in the mornings, when I do drive in the mornings. And man, I can't tell you how many times this year, so many businesses that I grew up, seeing and going to with my mom and dad closed. Toys R Us was the big one for me, like back several years ago, and Gary Vee made it a big deal about that. But man, so many have closed and so many more will. And I hope everyone is well and healthy and everything opens up and no one ever closes. But I think you have to be ready for anything. And the internet is your tool to use to win. And people like you, hopefully, will make it where the masses know this. Right now, they don't even know what's going on.
Right. Well, again, like you said, it's conversational marketing. It's having these conversations. Again, like you said, we could never have these kind of conversations. You're doing it through video, doing it by chatbots or email or whatever. I'll give you one just real quick story here. Back to me doing my water filtration in the and doing the yellow pages. In that same time, I wanted to do a TV spot in Houston. Okay, now I went to a studio. I had to drive downtown. Went to a studio and did a 30-minute little interview spot in the studio, and it was a spot on an offbeat channel on Sunday morning, like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It went on for 30 minutes, and that cost me $5,000 for that one little spot. $5,000, and it was just a spot. There was no way for me to communicate with that audience. Nowadays, we can come on here and we can have these conversations here on this live. We can have conversations in our chatbots, and they say it takes at least 7 times for somebody to actually have a transaction with you. Well, what better way to do it through a video or through like a chatbot and start to build that rapport with those? I mean, people want to demonize technology nowadays. They want to demonize all this stuff, but really, this is really this pandemic has really been bad, and I'm not gonna play that down. A lot of people have lost their lives, but on the flip side of it, it's actually pushed us into having actually a closer communication and having a better communication than we had before. And by leveraging this technology now, we're able to actually get more stuff done and actually have a better transaction or a better conversation, and actually build a rapport better with the customer than we ever had in any time.
Man, I can tell that you're so, the people that know what they're talking about, guys, can talk about this stuff all day. That is true. But your eloquence there, you just know. When you know the things, you can drop bombs like Greg can. And this entire episode, dude, full transparency here, I hope that each guest I have on this show has a mic drop moment. That I hope that happens, but it's not usual for the entire episode to be a mic drop, man. And every time you opened your mouth, It's just you're giving us all the value, dude. And I sure do appreciate that. I think we've gone through all these bullet point questions here, but I have one that's just off the top of my head, man. And where do you think you see the 2021 future of marketing going? Do you see it becoming more focused on the chat aspect, on the conversational side? I can't imagine where else it would lead to. You know, my favorite, when I finish my book, don't anyone ever take this title, I'll find you. But my book, I've always said, if I've said it for years now, conversation equals conversion.
Yeah.
And back when I thought of that saying, then the conversation was, it was getting in the comments as the brand, man. When I was working at this giant agency, that's what I was doing. How do I take a liquor brand that no one likes, doesn't taste very good, and no one knows about? Well, social media, that's the answer. Like, I know that. So that I forced my way tactfully, tastefully into conversation. Okay. And so because of that, people started liking the brand. They started wanting to buy it. They were like, oh crap, this Jack Daniels never talked to me. This one did. This is awesome. Where can I buy you? And they were like, what? And we won't go into the deep details of agency life because it is strange at times, but it works, guys. And that was the organic way. Now it's even harder to do it now. I was almost gaming the system back then, having so many free conversations without paying the man. But it's just the way it is. Conversation, I think, is where it's going to definitely be, whether it's voice or not. But what is your prediction here? Because, you know, I think that there's some people that have some awesome ideas, even when it comes to billboards. Even when I hate billboards in general, I hate on them and make fun of them. Imagine the billboard with the QR code that your car picks up. Dang, Elon Musk, money for that idea, dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hit on the right point there, and that's exactly what I was going to say. It's conversations in an omni-channel. You have to go, you know, where the people are, like it or not, wherever they're at. That's where you got to be, but not just to be there front facing and throwing stuff at them. You got to be engaged. It's engagement in true conversation, not just like, hey, you want to buy my stuff? No, it's like you're asking questions. How can I help you? What are you looking for? You know, what problems are you having? And then address those. And I know with chatbots, you can do that very well. You can segment your list. We didn't get into that, but you know, I didn't want to get too far in the woods in that, but segmentation and really having, you know, the key word here is empathy, having empathy with that customer and really getting to know people. Do business with people they know, like, and trust. And as we go through in 2021, human beings, no matter, and it shows through all the time through the Spanish plague, all these things that we've had, people are social, and we're going to be social. We see people that are still getting together here over the holidays when everybody's asking to stay home, because we're human beings. We want to be around other human beings. We want to be sociable. We want that connection. That's why we were built, to have that connection. And by leveraging these technologies that we have in our hand now, we can, you know, nothing beats belly to belly, right? Nothing beats belly to belly. But if we can have these two-way conversations, not just something thrown up in front of them, an ad, but having these conversations with our customers and with other people, then we can make that connection and be able to build those relationships and eventually have some kind of an exchange. Because the definition of a sale is just transfer of belief. That's all it is. People say, well, you know, they don't like salesmen and stuff, and they don't like sales, but we're all salesmen. We're all selling stuff every day, our services, no matter what. If we work for the man or if we don't work for the man, we're always selling our services. And
you're selling yourself too. And everything that you do is your personal brand. Everything is your personal brand.
You're selling your personal brand. But by having those conversations, then you're able to, you know, engage with that person. And again, the definition of a sale is just a transfer of belief. If I can show you and convince you that this product or this service will benefit you, and I can demonstrate that to you, then more times than not, you're going to go ahead with it. So by leveraging this technology, I think really we get through this pandemic here. I think it's actually going to benefit our society far as being more social and not blaming all this technology. So I think the future is very bright for for e-commerce, for chat marketing, and being able to make connections.
I think that you're exactly right, and I think that this is going to be a bomb drop of something. Just told me to go ahead and put it out there and make it official, because I ain't scared, man. Like, let me tell y'all how right he is when it comes to just owning up to like the fact that, well, I've got to do this stuff anyway. I've got to be on the internet. I have to. Well, might as well have a website. Well, might as well have a Facebook. Maybe I might as well throw some money at Facebook and see what happens. The people and the businesses that buy into that, they do. It's not immediate. It's not the next day, but they will see success if they try, and if they go at it long enough. Patience is key. That's one of Gary Vee's things too.
Yeah,
patience is the key. And when I first looked at this chat game, I knew the opportunities would be endless. I knew that I could help so many businesses, and that's what I had to always focus on. You can help so many businesses, and I wanted to get the word out because I wanted to help out all of them, and I wanted to find the way. And I didn't know what exactly that way would end up to be, to say what it is today, but it is where we are. And so because I wanted to get the word out, and because I wanted to overcome the fear, that's why the podcast has dropped. And I'll definitely include this in the book. I'm not going to say the number, you know the number, but man, got a big offer on the whole application of Tap the Table. Like literally 20 episodes of the ChatBot podcast in. And I talked to you and I was like, man, I might just walk away right now. Just cash this thing out. And like they can help the restaurants, but they won't help the restaurants. You guys won't help the restaurants. I'm staying. I wish I had. If I was Kelly, I'd throw that GIF up there of DiCaprio. I'm staying. I'm freaking staying, guys. that sort of thing. Like that should be going on right now. Yeah. Because the goal is, I'm going to get Greg to help me. Every single place you go, if you can't talk to Siri, if you can't look at a QR code, you're going to be able to tap your phone somewhere and get what you need. You know, those think of this, like it's so amazing at all the applications that this works for. NFC or QR codes. From the magnets that he mentioned, which is clutch for restaurants, Rupert, if you come up with that, dog, you got to hook us up with a good price at A1 Club. Like we thought of that, man. I don't think you have that yet. So we have to have that. But imagine, like, even for some reason I have the Home Depot store in my head. Walking down the thing, you need help because I don't know where anything in Home Depot is. I don't even know how to use the thing I'm going to buy.
Yeah, if you go to Home
Depot, it is. You press the button, right?
You better bring your help with you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, your help is in your hand now.
That's right.
With the table, but you have to press the button. I think that's the only place they let you press the button. I always like to press the button because the intercom would turn on. I'm like, Mom, need help? I'll press the button right now. Dad, we can't find anything, Dad. We don't know how to fix this. Let's press the button. Like, I've loved technology since I was a kid, but now it's always in your hand. So all these, even restaurant POS companies out there coming out with these gadgety gadgets, these POS in your hand. You still have to print with paper. You still have to make the transaction. No, stop doing all that. It's right here. But you guys can't unlock that because you can't. I was going to say, just kill your restaurant customers with your crazy prices. No, we don't want you to rent a printer, buy a printer, and buy a bunch of rolls. No, we don't want that. Just use your devices that are here. You use the things you already have. Save the money. Spend it somewhere else. But give the money that you would spend on all those printer accessories and printers and thermal paper. Give that as a bonus to your staff and see if they're not that much better. Money is the motivator. Money is the motivation for many, many people. For me, I want to help people. If I help enough people, I will get the money. That's my philosophy.
Yep.
Man, I just want to get off the air, like just bounce ideas off you now. Like, all right, how can we do this? How can we do that without everyone just stealing all of the ideas? Because I've got so many in the head right now. I can see your brain just like, well, if I do this and that, just calculating. All right.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, I just want to say thank you so much. And please tell people, where's the little slide? How can they get a hold of you? Bam. Where they follow you, how they get a hold of you.
Oh, right now.
Do you have anything set up yet?
Right now, I got a Facebook page up, Frictionless Income Streams. That's the name of it. I'm working on the website right now. I got a lot of stuff working in the back end. We're putting out stuff for the mobile wallet and building some stuff on the back end. So the site's not up right at the moment. Shame on me, but I got a lot of stuff I'm building in the back end. Right now, you can find me on Facebook at frictionlessincomestreams.com.
Heard. And you know, like I forget who it was already because I don't like hardly am able to keep track of anything these days anymore. But someone was on here just saying like, oh, you know, I noticed so and so, you know, they have a chatbot and it's a crappy chatbot. I don't remember who they were talking about, but it happens. Like if Greg was more concerned about his stuff versus a client's stuff, Greg is not what I consider a good marketer. But so that's why your website's not jamming right now. And that's my excuse for a lot of things. I don't like to make excuses ever, but it's just the facts. Like
working on other people's stuff.
If your own stuff is more polished than your client stuff, where are your priorities, guys? Like for me, I look at it as from the client's perspective, from the mean client's perspective, maybe the mean ones, I'm assuming they're like, oh, why does Ryan's stuff look so cool? My stuff looks crappy. And it might not even look crappy, but it's just like, you know, like I've seen those, I've dealt with those folks before, and I understand where they're coming from. So I understand you have to take care of what you have to take care of. But really quick, because you have mentioned a couple of shout out to Walletly, such a good group. We're trying to work something out with them for 2021. That would be so fun. We've got a giant space on my dashboard dedicated to them. And it'll be awesome when we make that thing happen. But man, I sure do appreciate you coming on here, Greg. I hope that.
Man, I thank you for having me on here, man. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a really great conversation.
Man, I want to come on your show. I want to be invited on your show. I'll go ahead and put it out there. I'll put it out there. I want to come in. I want to come to your house. Come on your show.
Yeah.
Well, I sure appreciate it. And guys, we appreciate you checking us out. Greg, stay on the line really quick. I'll come back on. I really appreciate everyone who has said nice things and said mean things, I guess, who has, you know, promoted this thing at all in any way, or just giving me any kind of support. I really appreciate it. It's been a very much of a roller coaster year, but it's been very fun. And it looks like if it's God's plan, we're going to keep on riding this robot roller coaster all the way up. And see, if I was Kelly again, she'd already have like, or Stephanie Lou, she'd be like, psh, and then they'd say all the way up, and they'd have like the whole song, man. And I know, like, if Nate Lopes happens to be watching this right now from Charleston, he's probably just shaking his head like, Ryan, what are you thinking, man? Guys, I appreciate everybody. Thankful for all y'all. I'm still thankful. It's way after Thanksgiving. I'm still thankful. I'm going to be thankful every day. Like I always say, every day is a good day.